Hey, it's Lindsay, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Log Diaries. I took an unintentional break from uploading videos over here on YouTube, so today's episode is going to be a bit of a level set on which notebooks I have been reaching for because there has been a subtle shift in my planner and journal lineup. And most of today's footage is from my birthday, so it is also a slight birthday vlog, so hopefully you'll enjoy coming along with me on today's video. I am reaching for my passport bullet journal lately, probably since mid-February if I'm being honest. But I did some watercoloring in it last night for a title for my birthday, and I did some watercoloring in my Hobonichi cousin as well. So you'll be pleased to know that I don't think the cousin is falling out of my line out just yet, but I did get a new cover for my birthday. This is from Baum-Kuchen. I believe it's called Aquamarine. It's in the NUNOUS line, if I remember right. And this was a gift from my parents, and I absolutely love it. It fits my Hobonichi cousin really well, and I'm loving this teal blue vibe that I have going on. So let's get into why I'm back in my passport-sized bullet journal, because the saga continues. But the three main points I have to make is, one, I recently conditioned my traveler's notebook covers. I used a leather balm from Renipur. I think that's how you pronounce it. I believe this is the balm that Traveler's Company recommends. I found mine on Amazon, but conditioning just changed this particular cover for me. I've never really got on with my blue. This is the blue cover, by the way, but after conditioning it, the color just got a little bit deeper, a little bit darker, which is my preference, and now I want to condition this cover every month in hopes that it just becomes a super dark blue someday. But the texture also became just so much nicer. This cover has always been a bit on the drier side, so I've never quite bonded with it, or I don't reach for it nearly as often. So after conditioning it, I loved how it felt in hand, and I am really kind of into textures, so things that feel nice in hand, I definitely want to use more. So after giving this a nice condition, I decided that it needed some use time, and I moved over into it. The second point is that, I had a birthday, and I'm starting to think about what I want out of my planners and notebooks a little bit differently. And the age-old I guess it's starting to feel like an age-old problem for me is that I miss my daily logs. I am a daily logger, and right now the passport bullet journal is the planner that allows me to move over into that the easiest. So that is point number 2. I want to be an archivist in my 30s and find this really great balance of being creative, being productive, and romanticizing the little things, writing them down and collecting them all in these very satisfying tiny little notebooks that I get to fill up every few months. And the passport just allows me to do that. And in general, I low-key have always wanted to be a traveler's notebook person. The vibes are good. I love seeing videos of meetups on YouTube and on Instagram, and I don't know, I like being part of this traveler's notebook community, so I'm diving in for now. And finally, I just kind of had to be honest with myself. I'm in my passport size Thursday night through Sunday, even when I thought I was being consistent with the weeks, because this one actually fits in all my purses. Not that the weeks is a large planner, but I only have a couple bags that it fits in, and this is both my wallet and my planner, and it's just exceptionally easy for me to take with me on the go. My birthday, unfortunately, was a work day, so I did work most of it, but my husband did bring me some vegan donuts from Revolution Donuts, which is my favorite. You will be happy to know I ate all 6 of those donuts in like 2 days because I have no self-control. All right, so from there, I'm going to do some morning page journaling, and here is the new character that I'm introducing into my lineup. I let the intrusive thoughts win, and I have set up a passport-sized journal. Is this a direct duplication of effort of what is going to go into my Hobonichi cousin? Probably. Do I care? No. I love the tiny planners. I love tiny journaling. There's something about the passport size that is so satisfying to me, and I just reach for it more. I can do a more in-depth video of the actual setup, but if you've been following me for a while, the setup is pretty similar to what I used in Q3 and Q4 of 2022. I've got 3 inserts in here. One is sort of a mini moments / travel journal insert. I think I picked up the phrase mini moments journal from Job's journal, which you should check him out if you don't follow him already. The second insert, the one I'm working in right now, is my Dear Diary journal. I use a date stamp. It's a Trodat. I do not remember the number. I can put it in the description box for you, but I picked that up on Amazon late last year, and I like the size for the passport. But I will stamp today's date, and I put fountain pen to paper, and I write about anything and everything. And this is the main appeal to me right now over my Hobonichi cousin, if it was journal versus journal. But I'm trying not to let it get to that point. I'm trying to be very relaxed about the journaling for the rest of the year. But in the passport size, I can complete a thought on a 1-page spread really easily, and that is the main appeal. So I do so much more journaling when I'm in the smaller notebook, because I will reach for the notebook in the morning and fill out 1 page with my coffee. Maybe I've got some downtime over lunch, I'll fill out another page, and then in the evening I have a lot to talk about and I will fill out 2 full-page spreads. And I'm finding, since I started this on, I think February 20th was my first entry, I'm averaging 5 to 6 passport pages per day. So that's about 1.5 A5 pages, depending on how you slice and dice it. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. That's kind of the one thing with the cousin. Having 1 day per page, even though it's A5 sized, I feel a bit restricted because it feels like a lot of commitment to dedicate a page to a topic. So if I feel like journaling in the morning and I reach for my cousin to do so, and I have more to say the rest of the day, then I end up sort of in this like mental conflict of, was that worth writing down? In the morning, was my afternoon topic more important? Should I have saved them? And with this being an undated notebook, I can just use as many pages as I need. All the thoughts are worth writing down. And I'm going to mow through this particular insert. I believe it's from I know it's from GoodInkPressions. It's a 4mm grid, I think, in a 68 GSM Tombow River paper. I'll have my insert deets in the description box for you if you're looking for similar inserts. But this is 120 pages, and I'm not quite halfway as of today, so I imagine I'll get 2.5 to 3 months before I would need a new insert, but I have so many to work through, and I'm glad I'm finally putting them to use. The pen I'm writing with, by the way, is my absolute favorite fountain pen other than my Pilot Vanishing Point. This is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim in, I think it's Nebula, in a medium fine, and I've got Sailor Shikiori Seaweed Indigo in there, if I remember right. Not that you can see the ink super well. In general, though, this is some real-time morning pages. It took me about 5 minutes of journaling before I fire up my emails for the day. And I'm also prioritizing sketching in here a little bit more. I'm just trying to draw a lot more than I have, so that's one of the reasons. I'm kind of back to the bullet journal for the dailies. And in here, since a 2-page passport spread is smaller than an A5 page, I find I'm giving myself permission to be a bit more experimental because I'm not dedicated to a theme for a full A5 page, because essentially 2 passport spreads equals about an A5 in my mind, more or less, when it comes to real estate. But yeah, the final insert, I don't think I show it in this vlog, is the weekly dated insert from Traveler's Company. and I am using that as my for fun memory keeper because it's the exact same information I put on the weekly spreads of my cousin, which you'll see here shortly, but I can't resist it. There's something about the passport size that is adorable, and it's really easy for me to keep up with, but simultaneously, because some of my inserts are undated, I can take as long as I want with things, and I need my journals to sort of allow themselves to be planner projects. If I don't want to go planner crazy, I'm just going to go journal crazy, or at least that's the hope. But a little bit more time in my Hobonichi cousin to share with you guys. So how I've been approaching the cousin really hasn't changed, and at this point I'm not willing to give it up. This will be my 5th year with the Hobonichi cousin, and I've always had this dream of having 5 of the same notebook on my shelf, filled in, put to use. And even though I don't think that this is like my main journal currently, the passport is what I'm reaching for first most of the time if I have something to write down or I only have a few minutes in the evening to get something up to date. The passport is kind of my number one. I'm still committing myself to finishing this. So the weekly spreads are still going to be used for weekly recap, memory keeping with a little bit of journaling mixed in. I'm going to doodle and watercolor and tip in extra ephemera. No real change to how I've shared this spread so far in 2023. I'm going to keep on keeping on with it because I really enjoy it. How I'm approaching the daily pages, I think, is shifting up ever so slightly. I've become way less diligent about journaling on the daily pages, and for the most part, it really hasn't been a problem because on a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm just like, yep, I want to do a ton of planner time, I'm pulling out the cousin, I'm journaling 3 or 4 daily pages at a time, and really the main change is that the topics on my daily pages are becoming a lot more date specific. So my random rogue thoughts are living in my passport size journal, but if I want to write about something that happened that day, maybe thoughts directly related to that day, so that could be maybe I finished a book and I want to review that book and I read that book on March 1st, then that's what I would put on that daily page. I'm definitely prioritize memory keeping, I think, in here too. So I'm always printing off photos and putting them in my daily pages. If I have really big ephemera, that would go in here because I really love flipping through my completed cousins. They're such a unique way for me to just like catalog my life and see what happens day by day. And I think I'm going to have way more blank daily pages in here than I originally anticipated, but you know what? That's fine. So the Hobonichi cousin isn't going anywhere. The passport journal is pretty much the same thing, but they are still slightly different in my mind and how I'm approaching them. So the cousin is sticking around. I really want to commit to finishing this in 2023. But I'm approaching it a little bit more as like my for fun journal. And this is something I think I've talked about over the years, I guess, on my channel, but I need this to be a hobby for me along with productivity tools or like a space for me to get my thoughts on paper. If my system is too streamlined, if I have one planner and one journal, I get bored so quickly, or I can like keep up with it in under 30 minutes. And then I'm like, what am I doing with the rest of my time if this is such a source of fun and joy and creativity for me? I call them planner projects. So this is my project planner, I guess, is maybe the best way of putting it. It's really more of a journal. I call everything a planner. I'm trying to get better about calling it like a notebook or a book or a journal because I am trying to categorize it a little bit differently in my brain. But yeah, so that's why the cousin is around, because I'm not willing to give it up and I really want 5 of these on my shelf, and this is where I'm overflowing my extra journaling time or creativity space into, and hopefully there's enough overflow time that it is more or less full at the end of the year. But thank you for hanging out with me, and I give you a little bit of my husband playing guitar for me. and I'll talk to you soon.